now we welcome in Aaron Wilson, who covers the Houston Texans and the NFL for the Houston Chronicle, longtime NFL beat writer. And I know, Aaron, it was an unusual draft for you, particularly as it was for everybody who is in the NFL family. What was the most unusual thing for you in trying to cover this draft from home?
I felt like in this draft, the biggest asset that I could have was my telephone. And normally you can talk to people face to face. You might even, for example, when they drafted Titus Howard in the first round last year, I'm leaving the facility and I'm walking out with the general manager at the time, Brian Gain, who's now no longer here and with the Buffalo Bills. And I'm talking with Brian and just getting some background about Titus. And he's, giving me, this was the guy. And he was shooting me straight. I knew it. And it backed up things I had heard independently. But that kind of face-to-face contact as a reporter, you don't have that. So you have to have good sources and people you can trust that you can get on the phone and text or talk with. And I found that to be invaluable in covering this draft. And I hope, obviously, one day that you can do things in person. But I think that technology, people will be using more of this. I've heard that from a lot of NFL personnel. When they're talking about draft prospects, they're going to FaceTime more. They're going to Zoom more. They're going to use a lot of these programs because this is an effective way to use time. Time's a really valuable commodity, and this is a way to maximize your time and get so many things done in one day without having to go somewhere.
Right. And so now we'll get to the Texans and their draft choices. Only 5 players, and obviously part of that was because they made some trades and acquired a couple of veterans along the way that'll certainly make a difference in the upcoming season. But 5 players taken, a couple of them, the Texans say they got them. They didn't expect them to be there when they drafted. What is your overall general take on the Texans haul?
I thought they had a good small group. I thought it was more, quality over quantity. When you look at some of the picks, Ross Blacklock, most people had him going in the first round. And the Minnesota Vikings, they didn't pick him because they wanted a corner and they felt like Jeff Gladney, the TCU corner, his teammate, would not be there in the second round, and they really wanted him, and they were deficient to that position. And Ross would have been sort of a luxury pick for them. For the Texans to get someone this big and fast, 6'3", 290, 4.90, and that mature, 21 years old, but doesn't act like it, kind of has an old soul mentality. I got to know him a little bit during the draft process. He, of course, is the son of Texas basketball legend Jimmy Blacklock and also Harlem Globetrotters. So, yeah, I think everything with him, he's someone you have a really low bust factor on because he's a hard worker. I know for a fact he's out there this weekend doing drills, lifting weights. He's very serious, real grounded guy. As far as their second-round pick, to get the third-round pick, their second pick overall, Jonathan Grenard, Florida pass rusher, heavy hands, quick twitch guy, not an explosive athlete, but a good athlete. I feel like, he gets off the football well, old school football player, about 6'3", 265, should be a good addition. And I could see him eventually becoming their Sam outside linebacker and becoming a starter.